G.Gordon, Liddy Show.
Yes, it is. Okay. I've got something here that is rather remarkable. It comes from a commander in the United States Navy, a naval aviator. And it's a warning. And here's what he says. Listen to this. We lived in California during the winters of 2007 and 2008. We became addicted to Fox News. And when we got back home, we upgraded our cable to get Fox. I watched the presidential campaign very closely, initially because I thought the Democrats would nominate Hillary Clinton, and then in astonishment when they chose an even more hard-left candidate. All of last year, I told everyone I could that Obama was not a Democrat, he was a Marxist. He is far to the left of any European leader, and even our far-left party, the NDP. I read Saul Alinsky when I was in university. I studied him and his writing carefully. When Bill Ayers and his idiot wife were bombing and killing people at random in the Weather Underground and the Black Panthers were closely allied. I read David Horowitz's account of changing from a Marxist to a conservative after seeing that the government was afraid to prosecute members of the Panthers for murdering his personal assistant. He suddenly understood the evil that Marxism really was. After the student radicals failed in creating a Marxist revolution in the United States by violent means, they embraced Alinsky. You would be wise to read Rules for Radicals because it outlines how Hillary and Obama planned to get into power and what they intended to do when they got it. Socialism is not the correct descriptor for what Obama and the Democrats are doing. They are going to be much more far-reaching than anything Sweden has ever been able to do. Obama is following Alinsky's plans, those set out in the Rules for Radicals and his other writing. The Democrats are attempting to create one-party rule in the United States, and in achieving that, will create crisis after crisis by their own actions and use those crises to nationalize the means of production in the United States. You are in the middle of a communist revolution, and few in the U.S. can actually see it for what it truly is. The U.S. is now on the path of financial destruction. The Constitution has been shredded, and individual human rights are being trampled. In less than 8 months, Obama has used a recession to take over the two largest industries in the United States. He will debase the dollar and is on the road to creating an incredible energy shortage that will allow him and Congress to take over the energy industry. By and large, I think that by 2010 elections, the Democrats will have gerrymandered electoral districts to the point that it will be impossible for them to lose control of both houses of Congress. The incredible increase in the money supply is going to create Zimbabwe and Venezuela-style inflation, and with it controls on the currency and the amount of money that can be taken out of the country. I love America. I cannot believe how the ignorance of the American public has created a situation whereby they are going to lose their republic and slip into an age of repression and tyranny. I may be nuts, but so far I have been 100% in my predictions of what Obama was going to do because I merely had to look at Rules for Radicals and see what was coming next. When the storm finally hits, and it will, those of you who supported the Obama administration will be affected as well. It won't just be us gun owners and flat taxers or pro-lifers that get hit. You will be right there next to us. You all thought the conservatives were nutcases. You know, all of us who believe in God, small government, and Second Amendment, etc. You thought you could just go back to sleep after the election was over. In your world, America will continue as before. You'll still have the same rights, the same nice house, the same big screen television. After all, your high school football team won and the other team lost. Go team. Even if you have bothered to look up from the daily grind since November 4th, you dismissed everything that has occurred as politics as usual, same old stuff. In the end, it'll all be okay, won't it? Not this time. There are a growing number of citizens in the U.S. that are ready to fight to shut down the government's grab of personal freedom. It's blatant abuse of the Constitution, and it's an attempt to replace the American way of life with socialism. You have to listen carefully to hear them, but they are here. I won't start that fight, but when it goes down, I will join it. As for you, why, you'll be shocked because you didn't see it coming. And eventually you'll be saddened when you see that we have truly lost the way of life with which you grew up. You'll be saddened that your children and grandchildren live in a socialist government-controlled gulag where their every movement from cradle to grave is tracked by the government. But most of all, you will be saddened by the death of friends and relatives who are brave enough to fight and die for something they believe in. You know, McCain wasn't much of a candidate, I'll give you that. He was the lesser of two evils for most of us. I don't blame you for not voting for him, because at the time you didn't know what we all know now. But at least John McCain was an American. He was a supporter of the American way of life, and he understood that you can't negotiate with terrorists. He understood and appreciated the sacrifices made by my father and other members of the greatest generation. Mark my words, all across America, groups are forming. They are forming out of anger and out of desperation at the thought of losing America. They are not militia groups, terrorists, as the Department of Homeland Security would have you believe. They are Americans, loyal to the Constitution. They are mothers and fathers and grandparents. They belong to groups like the Minutemen Civil Defense Corps, the Peaceful Resistance, the Constitution Party, the Young Conservatives, the 9/12 Project, and Grassfire. Right now they are fragmented, each focused on their own cause. But sometime in the next 2 years, our government is going to do something really stupid, and these groups will come together. Watch for it. Wait for it. Get ready. It will happen. And when that happens, whatever it is, our great country is going to plunge into chaos for a while. I pray to God that we make it through that time and emerge a stronger, smarter country. And it's signed by Naval Aviator Commander Jerry Wilson. Wow. Well, you see these groups forming now, and you see what Obama is doing. He may be right. We may be having another revolution within a few years. What do you think? 1-800-GG-Liddy.